10 seconds. Stand by. Yes, yes, yes. Here we go. Heat number 1 of 333, male side of the competition. Let's take a look at who we have here in this heat. On lane number 1, we've got Marcus Eriksson from CrossFit Holistic. On lane 2, from CrossFit am Rhein, Markus Schmidt. On lane 3, from CrossFit BFG, Zach George. On lane 4, representing CrossFit Dogfield, Piotr Mielzadek. On lane 5, from Sever CrossFit, Roman Hrennikov. Representing CrossFit Ireland, on lane 6, Sam Stewart. On lane 7, from Mad Hall CrossFit, Dimitris Fotiu. Representing CrossFit Idol, on lane 8, Alexander Ilin. Lane 9, representing CrossFit Wroclaw, Piotr Brzezinski. On lane 10, from CrossFit 72D, Bronislav Olenkovic. On lane 11, from CrossFit Vitus, Kevin Winkens. Lane 12, from Train Blue CrossFit, David Strufek. Excuse me, David. On lane 13, from CrossFit 82, Arminas Balevicius. Lane 14, from CrossFit Riga, Uldis Upenieks. Lane 15, from CrossFit Prestanda, Victor Longsved. Lane 16, from CrossFit Avon, James St. Leger. Lane 17, from CrossFit Nordic, Lucas Herberry. On lane 18, representing CrossFit Bath, Alec Harwood. Lane 19, from CrossFit XY, Arnie Björn Christensen. And finally, on lane 20, from CrossFit West Mids, William Kane. So 333 is our event. 3,000 meters of rowing, followed by 300 double unders, and then the athletes will finish this event off with a 3-mile run. In meters, that will be 4,848 meters. So 3 miles. The time cap is 49 minutes. And again, we do not have a time to beat right now because this is the first time these individual athletes will attack this event in the world. So these gentlemen here will be the first ones to go. So we'll get a new time to beat from this heat right here. Once the athletes will get to the double unders, they will have 3 sections where they will complete 100 double unders in each of them, advancing every time. And with the assault runner on that run, that 3-mile run, every 400 meters, that chest piece in front of the runner will be moved forward so you guys can follow along and see where your favorite athlete is right now. And it's also great for the athletes to see where the rest of the field is going to help them pace out their own speed here in this workout a little bit. We're probably looking at somewhere between 10 to 12 minutes for these guys to get off the rowers. So coming up on 6 minutes, so about halfway here with this 3K row. All of these chins right now closing on that last 1,000 meters. Arminas Bolavicius, lane 3, has 950 meters left. So does Victor Longsved on lane 15. Lucas Herberg on lane 17 has 870 meters to go. Lane 19, Arne Bjørn Christensen right now has 780 meters to go. All of these gentlemen right here holding on to a steady pace, somewhere between 145 and 150 for 500 meters. And this part of the event right here is not going to win you really that much, so you want to make sure that you pace well, you stick to your own game plan, and do what you can here. You don't want to go too hot out the gates and burn yourself out. Roman Hrennikov, lane 5, 470 meters left. Lane 19, Arne Bjørn Christensen, about 250 meters left for him. Lucas Herberg, 260 on the screen right now. So keep your eyes on lane 17 and 19. These might be the first guys to get off the rower. Hands are coming up. Lucas Herberry, 80 meters to go. Arne Björn Christensen, 40 meters to go. So lanes 19, 17, almost ready to finish. Also on the other side of the field, we've got a few athletes getting ready to get done with that row. And Roman Hrennikov, lane 5, on that first nation of double unders. So coming out the row is Christensen, Herber, and Hrennikov holding on to the top 3 placings here in this heat. We already have a few of these athletes on that second set of 100 double unders. Who's going to be the first one to advance? Arne Björn Christensen, lane 19. He's on his last set of 100 double unders. Lucas Herberry right behind him. James St. Leger. Piotr Brzezinski on lane 9 was the third man to get on to that last set. Lane 19, Arne Björn Christensen, the first man to get on to that assault runner. And as you see now, that chest piece has been moved forward for Arne. Judge will move the chest piece every 400 meters. So we can keep our eye on where these athletes are currently in the heat. Roman Hrennikov, lane 5, also on that runner, and Lucas Herberry is also on that runner.
and the 3-mile run is approximately 4,800 meters. So basically a 5K run.
Lane number 19, Arne Bjørn Christensen holding on to that heat lead right here. He is done with his first 400. Lucas Herberry right behind him, lane 17. Lane 5, Roman Hrennikov also in the mix here. Lanes 14 and 15, Victor Longsved and Uldis Upenieks also done with the first 400. We are now coming up on 18 minutes. We got at least about the same amount left probably here for these gentlemen. 49 minutes is the time cap. So now we clearly have a top 3 in this heat, and that is Arne Bjørn Christensen, lane 19, Lucas Herberry, lane 17, and Roman Hrennikov on lane 5. The point system for the individuals is the same as for the team, so the winner will get 100 points for each event. Second place will earn 94 points, third place 88, and so on and so on. And the male and female athletes with the most points at the end of the weekend will be the ones that advance to the CrossFit Games 2018 in Madison. If you've never been on one of these air runners, I can tell you it's a devilish machine. It will punish you straight away if your running mechanics aren't correct. It's really hard to keep a steady pace on this if you haven't practiced it before. It's really easy to go too fast and then have to slow down. So these athletes are trying to work at a steady pace all throughout. Lane 19, Arne Bjørn Christensen has two miles remaining here. 1/3 of the way in. Lucas Herberg also, lane 17, done with his first mile.
And on third place on lane 5, Roman Hrennikov.
Roman Hrennikov is catching up with Arne Bjørn Christensen. His chess piece is moving at almost the same time, and Lucas Herberg is not far behind, only a few seconds. So still your top three, Hrennikov, Christensen, and Herberg.
25 minutes done, and we're halfway on this event. Heat one of the male athletes. And as you can see, Roman Hrennikov is taking the lead over Arne Christensen and Lucas Herkberg, but it is a really tight race. All of these athletes are closing in on the halfway point of their 3-mile run. Currently your leader, Roman Hrennikov, is holding a 7-minute 30-mile pace. Also on lane 14, Uldis Upeniekis is holding the same pace here. But right on their tails, Lucas Herkberg, a bit slower maybe than Hrennikov, and Arne Christensen also, his pace is just under 8 minutes, so currently Hrennikov has the fastest pace in this heat. And you can right now see that the pace is paying off. Uldis Upeniekis on lane 14 is catching up. He's currently in 4th place in heat 1. And clearly, Herkberg and Christensen are picking up their pace right now. They're both pushing the 7:30 pace here, trying to keep up with Hrennikov. Hrennikov also keeping that 7:30 pace, and if all these athletes keep that pace, we might get a pretty interesting sprint to the finish, because after these athletes have completed these 3 miles, they will still have to sprint to the finish line, and once they reach the finish line, that will stop their time. Hrennikov picking up the pace. He's dropped his pace already down to 7:20 a mile, so he's speeding up. Uldis Upeniekes also 7:40. Lucas Herbert 7:40 as well. And Jörn Christensen pushing a 7:40 pace.
Lane 5, Roman Hrennikov. That chest piece advances again. But Herbert and Christensen are only less than 10 seconds behind. So this is still anybody's game between these three gentlemen.
Roman Hrennikov holding on to that 7:30 pace here, pushing it. We will have to see if Upeniekes, Christensen and Herbert can catch up. These guys are holding a 7:30 pace. Lucas Herbert pushing it right now, 7:24 on his pace. He's picking it up, and also Christensen pushing his pace, 7:20. These guys want to catch Hrennikov.
And lane 5, Roman Hrennikov, his chest piece, gets moved again, still has a bit of a lead. Let's see when we see those chess pieces from Herbert and Christensen move, and that is right now. So still about a 10-second difference between these gentlemen. Hrennikov won, and Herbert and Christensen battling it out for the second place, neck and neck.
And right now, ladies and gentlemen, Lucas Herbert just switched it up. He moved to a 7-minute pace, so he's picking up his speed considerably. But Hrennikov is pushing a 7:20 pace, but right now, Herbert clearly going the fastest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you support your favorite athlete here working. They'll need some help. All the help they can get, they will need. This is a tough workout. Let's make some noise. Guys are working real hard here. And Roman Hrennikov is down to his last 400 on lane 5. Black tank top on, lane 5, Roman Hrennikov. Lucas Herbert is second place. Last 400 starts for him as well. And Arne Björn Christensen, lane 19, holding on to third place here, just behind Lucas Herbert.
And Herbert pushing the pace again. He's dropped his pace to 6 minutes 30. He's sprinting to the finish. What will Hrennikov answer him? Hrennikov is holding his pace, 7:20. Herbert is pushing it to 6:30. If Herbert can sprint the last 400, he could take this event, and And Herberg pushing it. 6 minutes, 10 seconds. He's going fast.
It looks like we're going to see a sprint to the finish here, so keep your eyes on lanes 5, 17, and 19.
And we can, Roman.
Second event of the day underway with heat number 1 of 4, but it is a huge heat when it comes to point implications as we close out the opening day for the men here in Germany. We mentioned Christiansen in 4th. 2 other athletes here in the top 5. That includes in 3rd place, Lucas Högberg, who is making his way to the bench already with 10 quick deadlifts at 295 pounds. Now he's on to the 195 pound or 89 kilo bench press for his set of 10.
And Lucas Högberg was so close last year to making it to the games. I think it was a 2-point differential between him and Fredrik Egidius. I think Lucas is coming back more fired up than I've ever seen him before. He really wants to make sure that he gets to go to the games again. He feels like he could have done great there.
Now he leads the way, but he's going to lose that lead quickly, at least here in round number 1, as he's going for that single strategy. Zach George off camera in lane number 3 was behind him, but he's going with the touch and go, which might not pay off for him in the end, but he is out in front here at this point. So Högberg is in that lead battle, but leading the way in terms of the point standings in this heat is in 2nd place in the overall standings, Roman Hrennikov, who nearly had the event win in event number 1.
Roman did really, really well. Now he wasn't used to the event. He wasn't sure that he was actually going to do it, or that he was actually going to do that well. So it's going to be interesting to see him in an event where he feels more comfortable. He said before that this was an event he felt good about.
He saw Hrennikov in the white shirt, makes his way back to the deadlift bar for the set of 9. He is in the 2nd position, as in lane number 3, no shirt and black shorts that you saw a moment ago, Zach George leading the way, but he has that aggressive strategy that might be that run through the wall and see if he can hang on tight.
Well, Zach didn't exactly get the start to the with the first event that I think he was looking for, and I think he wants to redeem himself, and he feels really comfortable with this event as well. You can tell by the way he's moving forward. Now, it is going to be interesting to see whether he's going to be able to hold on to this, or if this hard pace early on is going to punish him later.
Zach George entering this in 34th place, and this might be starting to get to that point where you have to do that damage control from the first event. It might change your keys, but in general, what are we looking at here in event number 2?
Well, so as always, there are a couple of things that I think could make or break you. One is it is not a sprint. Even there's a 17-minute time cap. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to need 17 minutes, but you need to partition your effort. You need to know when to make a move. Technical excellence is another one of these things. A tight bar path and being able to position yourself under the bar in the right way is going to set you up for expending less energy on every single solitary rep, and that's going to serve you well as you get further into the event. The last thing is avoid the no reps. Even though it's not a sprint and is a slightly longer event, there's just no time for no reps. You want to make sure that all the energy you expend is going to propel you towards a fast finish, not towards an extra rep.
So Zach George, you see him walking towards the deadlift bar, continuing to lead the way, even though in round 1 he went touch and go, in round 2 he went for the singles. Marcus Schmidt moving into the picture as he continues to go touch and go. But Roman Hrennikov in 3rd, and there's Lucas Högberg in 4th here in the heat, as we're still in the very early stages. But this will progress quickly throughout these final rounds. As you think about it, there's 55 reps of each movement. We're already through 19 of those 55.
This is true, but considering the way that this event is set up, you can actually get all the way halfway through the reps and still not feel like you've done half the work. It's a brilliantly programmed piece of work that's it's wreaked havoc on people before.
I'm not sure if that was just kind of clipping the clip, for lack of better words there, I suppose, or if that was a little bit of sign of fatigue there. That left arm for George it looked a little bit slow on a couple of those reps.
And that's the beauty of what these athletes are doing right now, is that it is going to challenge challenge your every ability. You need to maintain focus. You need to position yourself smartly under the bar for the cleans, but you also need to be able to position your work so that your rest-work ratio will still allow you to access all your athletic prowess, so to speak. If you go too fast, one arm may not serve you well. You may find yourself getting underneath the bar a little bit too slowly, not get the repetition or having to fight for it, and you just don't need that at this point.
Top two here in the heat, Marcus Schmidt on the left, Zach George on the right, and I don't know if it's by choice or by necessity, but they have both foregone the touch and go strategy on the cleans with that 145-pound, 66 kilo bar. Lucas Hogberg moving into continuing to hold to the fourth position as Hrenikov is holding third. Hogberg not far behind. The two leaders continuing to hold a pretty decent lead here. They close out the set of 7 on the deadlifts at 295 pounds, about 134 in kilos.
So Zach is back to the bench press now. We did see that left arm give in just a little bit on the previous set. Let's see if that was just a coincidence or if it's sorted itself out.
Now, a couple of notes that I think that might have just been a little bit of an odd rep there, the one that we saw where it slowed down. But a couple of notes here. One, we just saw the bench press. You have to keep your hands inside the second grip ring, as they put it in the athlete briefing yesterday. So there is a standard in terms of that, as well as keeping your butt and your feet, or your butt on the bench, your feet on the ground. The other thing is, some people are wondering, where did these weights come from? Linda typically is based on your body weight percentage. Well, we kind of are doing that. We're going with the average of the athletes that have been here at the regional level.
Exactly, and I think that's a smart and an even way to do it. What that means is that we have a 295-pound or 134-kilo deadlift. We've got a 195-pound or 89-kilo bench press and a 145 or 66-kilo clean. I think it was a smart way of making sure that everybody was doing the same work.
This just tightened up in a hurry. It is still Marcus Schmidt out front, but 1 second ahead of the man in white, Roman Hrenikov, who's looking to cap off an incredible opening day of competition. Zach George in third, Lucas Hogberg a couple of reps away from joining them in the round of 6.
And you see the pace is starting to slow down significantly on these reps. But Roman Hrenikov is doing a great job. He's got to love how this weekend is unfolding for him.
Still looking rather smooth on the bench press. He might need to start watching his hips, as you can see them start to come up just a little bit.
And I think that Adrian Bosman was talking about, if I was shining a flashlight from the side, if I can see light on the other side of your body, you have come off the bench.
And a no rep here, and that one, from what I'm gathering from the gestures from the judge, they were told you have to lock it out and then bring the bar back into the rack. I believe he was bringing it back into the rack as he was locking it out, based on the gestures from that judge. So I believe that's the no rep there for Zach George, but it might prove costly. He didn't lose any positions. He was third at that time. He's still third, but he has lost a lot of ground to Lucas Hogberg.
And it's going to be interesting to see now whether Lucas is going to opt for the touch and go, or if he's going to go 1 rep at a time. It looks like he's still going 1 rep, but he has increased his speed just a little bit.
Hrenikov and Schmidt simultaneously roll their bar to the 5 spot on the floor, indicating they're on the round of 5 now, as that is the advancement of the bar. You move it into the round you're going to next. We keep an eye on the 3rd place race. Currently, well, now that's a tie as well at this point, as Hogberg just ahead because of the transition speed, ahead of Zach George. So put Hogberg in 3rd. It's Schmidt and Hrenikov side by side with each other working on the bench. And those 4 have separated themselves from the rest of the field by a good margin.
They have. And they're still looking very, very solid. I mean, Marcus Schmidt, I was afraid that he was going to blow out too fast, that he was going to blow up in the end. But I mean, he still looks really, really calm and composed. Look at that snappy hip and making sure that he's not overexerting himself in any way, shape, or form. Stands all the way up, has a good conversation with his judge. I like this.
Now on the far right side, you'll see that plate that's bouncing every now and then. It's being blocked by the judge. There it is again. That is the lane for Roman Hrенnikov. So they are next to each other, going once again for the touch and go here to close out the set of 5. And still simultaneously they advance the bar, turn around, and it's near. We saw synchronization chest to bar pull-ups in the team competition earlier. We're seeing synchronized squat cleans, roll the bar, and walk to the deadlift bar for your 2 leaders here in this heat.
I don't think they. Let's put it this way. I don't think that Roman Hrенnikov or Marcus Schmidt had a conversation about this in the locker room in the warm-up area before. Let's just follow pace. It just happens that way. The interesting part is that even though there aren't that many reps left on the floor for him, this could still change.
And we're starting to see a little bit more waving of the bar here on the way up. Hrенnikov still going those 4 unbroken, as did Schmidt. Schmidt has been faster on the deadlift and bench press. Hrенnikov faster on the squat clean to close out each round. It's interesting to see how that plays out as we're entering the final 3 rounds after these 4 cleans. So first to the bar, a 1-rep advantage for Schmidt, who's now going singles. Hrенnikov going touch and go for at least the first 2. Touch and go for the last 2 for Schmidt, and he will actually have about a half-second lead over Hrенnikov this time. Schmidt on the left, Hrенnikov on the right. We're in the final 3 rounds. So just 18 reps total remain, 6 of each movement. First to the deadlift bar will be Schmidt. Högberg has now moved his way pretty comfortably into 3rd, but not in striking distance of the 2 leaders.
And this is where Schmidt has been making a mark in the last couple of rounds. He's been really, really good, really snappy on his bench presses, where Hrенnikov has been fighting it out just a little bit more.
And we're almost level again, though. As Schmidt now having a jog, Hrенnikov follows suit. Hrенnikov getting a little push from the Russian contingent here as they're behind us, chanting his name, trying to get him to go that last little bit and possibly chase down Schmidt, they're both going to go touch and go, and they're both going to advance the bar simultaneously once again. We have 2 rounds remaining. Hrенnikov turns and runs towards the deadlift bar. Schmidt having to pick up that same pace, but it is a slight advantage for Hrенnikov over Schmidt as they start the round of 2. Quicker transitions might be the deciding factor here in our final couple of rounds. Set of 2 complete. It might also come down to a mistake. If you rack that bar a little too quickly, if you try to stand up and drop that bar a little too quick on the cleans, it's got to be clean, but it's got to be fast. Hrенnikov out in front by 2 reps now, and he's picking up the pace, running about the same speed he did with his quick event 1 finish. And this might be out of reach at this point for Schmidt, as Hrенnikov already threw the 1 deadlift, makes his way to the bench. There's the 1 press, and 1 rep remains for Roman Hrенnikov. We spoke about a group of athletes that might make that push to join the notable games athletes for those 5 qualifying spots, but after day 1, you might see Roman Hrенnikov leading the leaderboard if this continues.
What a way to execute the event for Roman. He's got to love the way that panned out. Schmidt looking pretty happy with second place as well, and I think he should be. He did very, very well.
And Schmidt is in at 13:08. Wow, for being simultaneous for much of the 6 through 2 rounds there, it's an 18-second differential for Hrенnikov over Schmidt.
Well, Hrennikov's start was a little bit slower, and I think he left a little bit in the tank to be able to increase his speed in the end, which was just really, really smart. And here we see Lucas Högberg running up for his last clean as well. And here's Roman. And he did a great job of just staying consistent, taking it easy in the transitions between the different movements, and then increasing his pace in between them in the end, coming off to a great finish. And this is where he made his move. Just a little bit faster in the transition. You see him now running as opposed to walking a little earlier, and that's where he got it.
And the possible points leader, if this holds, after day number 1, Roman Hrennikov, he leads the way in event 2, and he's with Nikki Brazier.
So we've got Roman here and a translator to help us out a little bit. My question for you is, it was neck and neck for you coming through the end. How does having someone right next to you push you to get to the end?
Ты держался вместе со своим соседом, то есть ты за ним гнался. Тебе это помогало или тебе это мешало?
Мне это помешало. Я изначально думал, что Холберг даст хороший темп, но когда я увидел, что он делает взятие по одному, то есть синглами, я думаю, что я совершил ошибку и пошел в его темпе, хотя я мог быстрее. Испугался, опыта не хватило.
So he thinks that it was a mistake to keep on with the Kolberg because he was thinking that he will go fast. And at some point, Roman understood that he's going too slow. He's doing singles, and probably he could done better if he just moved in his own pace from the very beginning.
I got you. Well, you still did a fantastic job. Great day 1 for you here. Nice work.
And we go directly into our final heat of men's event number 3, and they've got their work cut out for them to catch that new top time, 8 minutes, 35 seconds.
What a blistering pace that is. It hasn't sunk in that you can actually do this event that fast for me yet.
So just to recap for those just joining us, this event, 3 rounds of 9 muscle-ups, single leg squats. The first round 36, second round 45, third round 54. In between each of those movements, they'll have the handstand walk obstacle course with the 13-minute time cap. And that obstacle course has kind of bitten a few of these athletes the first time, and that includes Adrian Mundweiler, and that's not twice, and this is a little unexpected.
It is. This is something that we thought he'd be really comfortable with, but we have seen athletes struggling on the way up the stairs. The incline, not so much of a problem.
I thought that was a little aggressive going for that with that struggle the first time up.
It was very bold. Now, if it works, it works. But you want to make sure to be safe and secure in the first round, not get yourself in any kind of trouble, and then start increasing as you go.
So out in front, on the center of the screen, red and black shorts, this man, I don't know what he can't do at this point. Roman Hrennikov, you look at how he's built and you kind of think, all right, high skill, maybe this one won't be the event, and here he is out in front through the first 18 of 36 single leg squats.
I'm not sure if he really knows what he can't do. The thing is that it's not just that he can do it, he does it really well. He's very well balanced. You see him just touching his toe when the leg starts dropping a little bit. He's staying well balanced. This is exactly what he needs, and I'm impressed with his pacing as well. It's not incredibly fast yet, but it's very consistent, and consistency kills.
And he'll move that chest piece into the next segment of the floor because round number 1 is complete, barring this one handstand walk on the way back. Meanwhile, in lane number 1, if there's somebody that might play a spoiler role in this points race here in this event and make a charge up the leaderboard himself, could be Kevin Winkins, somebody that is very good at movements like this.
He is, and he's looking to set himself up for success, but he needs to be just pace himself in the early rounds, and now we see him struggling a little bit on the handstand walk. So, you know, I just want to see these athletes go out here, pace themselves on the handstand walk. I want to see him balanced and doing well on the pistols, and then I want to see him hurry up, recover in between the movements, and then go faster.
Left side of the screen, that's a no rep for Lucas Hofberg, who is second place in the point standings behind this man. Roman Hrennikov leads the way by 18 points over Hofberg. Adrian Mundweiler in third, Sigurdur Thrusterson and Andrei Ганин in fourth and fifth. But they are just a few points ahead of several athletes, including P.D. Savage, Marcus Schmidt, Frederick Agidius, all within 18 points of that number 5 spot. And you always have BKG lurking in the woods there, as in similar fashion, think about a year ago. Ben Smith 19th in the Atlantic Regional after day 1. BKG 19th. Similarly, Ben Smith won the first event on day 2. BKG sitting in second.
And it's an interesting technique or an interesting strategy here by Lucas Högberg, who you just saw on your screen. He's breaking up his muscle-ups. I'm pretty sure he's doing that because he wants to make sure that he's got the shoulder strength to correct the handstand walk if needed.
Wow, great control to save that one. Get both hands across that yellow line, and Hrenikov good to go on the second half of the handstand obstacle walk. So we're at the 4-minute mark.
And Roman is he's just on a tear.
He's flying, but that's compared to this heat. They are behind the pace of Mitchell Adams and Bjorkman Carl Gudmundsson from one heat ago.
And it seems to be the stairs, starting with the stairs, moving up the stairs. I think a lot of athletes have been training this at home, but what they've been doing is walking up the incline and down the stairs, not up the stairs and down.
Second place now belongs to Frederick Agidius on the right side of the screen, as he wasn't even in the top 5 coming out of round number 1, and here he is sitting in second. Adrian Mundweiler now in third.
And you know, you can never count out Frederick Agidius. We talked about it yesterday. He's just that guy that may fly a little bit under the radar, and then he makes his move. And everybody gets surprised. But he's got all the skills that he needs to be able to give Roman a match for his in this event.
He's actually pulled within a few reps. And Hrenikov actually making a mistake really for the first time all weekend, as he still had 15 reps remaining, and he moved the chest piece into that spot, thought he was done, walked away for a little bit, had to come back, and that's actually going to cut a couple of reps out of that lead interval between he and Agidius in second at the top of the screen, Mundweiler in third, in lane number 4, the lower blue lane on the screen, and Kevin Winkins in fourth with Lucas Högberg in fifth.
And Frederick well aware of the fact that on the last one he's got 54 one-legged squats. And so if he can keep that pace up and not get too far behind Roman, he may be able to make the move right there.
Composure by Hrenikov. After that small misstep early on, collects himself, gets back over that. Meanwhile, off camera, Agidius having to take a couple shots at this upward staircase. Agidius on the right, Hrenikov on the left.
And Hrenikov looking very, very confident indeed.
Speaking of confidence, Agidius trying to take both parts of this obstacle walk in one shot. He'll get there. Going to throw out the question with how much has he paused on there. Was that a little too bold with not just time-wise, but the amount of time he was upside down on his hands?
Well, it is, but it is pretty bold. But at the same time, if he feels like he's got the power, it's just a balancing issue. He doesn't feel like he's in any kind of trouble. I think it's smart.
Both Hrenikov and Agidius breaking up the muscle-ups here in the final round of 9. Now in this round, there's only one handstand walk. Once you complete the 54 single-leg squats, you go straight to the finish line. And Hrenikov will be the first one out of this race to go for the 5th and final handstand obstacle walk.
But the previous heat was a lot faster.
Absolutely, that a minute 10 seconds away, the top time unofficially of 8:35 from Mitchell Adams. You go to BKG with 8:42, then you got some time until the third fastest time. Hrenikov flirting with that outside line on the lane. He'll hang in there though, complete the first half of this handstand obstacle walk, as Agidius will be able to take his first shot. Wow, Hrenikov, the composure to keep going on that.
I don't know where he gets it. I don't know where he gets it.
And he starts on the 54 single leg squats. They'll move that chest piece every 9 reps.
And Mitchell Adams was talking about now it's just 54 pistols for time. And it's really what it is, but there's a lot of fatigue and you can't really stress yourself through it. Especially like this, even though the Roman is so far ahead, he really doesn't have time to get no reps.
Hrenikov picking up the pace as he tries to hold off the man on the left side of the screen, your new second place athlete, Adrian Mundweiler. These are two athletes in the top 3 in the point standings.
And you see a slightly different technique. So Roman's leg is fully extended way out ahead of him. Adrian Mundweiler has got a little bit more of a bent leg. Now, both of them work. It's just what you feel more comfortable with. I would prefer a slightly shorter lever.
Gideus finding himself in 3rd place. Lucas Hogberg not far behind him as those two race for 3rd. There's Hogberg on the far left side of the screen, but Roman Hrenikov is closing in on the final 9 reps. It won't be an event win, as that's the only thing he's yet to do this weekend. A 2nd in event number 1, a 3rd in event number 2, 1st place at the end of day number 1, and he will very likely be 1st place at the end of event number 3. The star-making weekend of Roman Hrenikov continues.
And Adrian Mundweiler is about to, his shape and his performance from yesterday, he continued that today, doing great on the handstand walk. Then when he moved on to the pistols, he kept a great pace, and on the rings there were absolutely no problems whatsoever, stringing together all his reps unbroken, taking his time, and look at the pace on these pistols. He knew that he wanted to go fast, but he did so by being consistent rather than going out for a sprint. And there you have him. That was as much of a sprint as he did.
Roman Hrenikov, your heat winner, is with Nikki Brazier.
So this was a very technical event. Lots of gymnastics, and those pistols are a difficult movement. You haven't been doing this very long, just 2 years. What in your background helped prepare you for these events?
Это событие было с технической точки зрения очень сложным. Выходы на кольцах, пистолетики. Ты занимаешься кроссфитом всего 2 года. Что помогло тебе подготовиться к этому заданию?
Ну, я думаю, что мне помогло именно мои ребята с Брус Стрэндж, с которыми я тренируюсь, именно Андриан Конвей. Очень много дают гимнастики, очень много навыка. Я думаю, это их заслуга.
So his teammates from Roots Range and his coach, he's programming for him lots of gymnastics, and that helped him win this event.
Great job, thank you.
Thank you.
So it is a 3rd consecutive top 3 for Hrenikov as 2nd, 3rd, and 3rd unofficially here. We don't have the official results on this event. As we indicated earlier, the line was close. Some people were reaching their foot over the time. And we are back here in Berlin, Germany, ready for Heat 4 of 4 in men's event number 4 to close out the 2nd day of competition on the men's side of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games European Regional at the Velodrome. Brandon Domain, Mats Jakobsen, and Nikki Brazier with you as wow is all we can say about this day, and it's only going to continue to get shaken up as only half of the top 10 is here in the final heat.
It's incredible what we just saw in the heat prior to this one. It kind of does set the standard. What we saw these gentlemen take on was event number 4. Event number 4 is 2 rounds of 10 snatches and 12 burpees at 175 pounds. Then on to 2 rounds, 10 snatches, 12 burpees at 115 pounds with a 9-minute cap to the event.
Now in Heat 3, we spoke about all the athletes that were charging up the leaderboard. In Heat 4, it's about the athletes that are sliding down the leaderboard for the most part. 3 of them losing at least 9 positions in event number 3. Most notably, Sigurdur Thrusterson falling 10 spots from 4th to 14th. But the other big story, Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson is a huge story right now, but Roman Hrenikov continuing to become a star this weekend, still leading the way at 270 points, 28 ahead of Adrian Mundweiler. And just wow is all we can say about Hrenikov.
Well, Hrenikov has also shown that there's nothing that he can't do, right? He thought that yesterday was a good day for him, but he wasn't quite sure how he was going to do today. He goes out and crushes it. There is nothing this man can't do.
And there is Hrenikov on the right side of the screen. Left side, Lucas Hogberg coming into this event in 3rd, as he is 34 points behind the leader. Adrian Mundweiler there in the gray tank top, sitting in 2nd, 28 points behind Hrenikov.
Adrian Mundweiler looking like a boxer about to go for a fight.
And it may take getting into that type of a pain cave here in this one. 4 rounds, it's gonna be fast. The time they're chasing, 5 minutes, 38 seconds, set by Sam Stewart in heat number 2.
And as we're seeing the difference between the prior heat and this one is that most of these athletes are opting for a touch and go right from the start. And that's heavy. It's gonna cost them a little bit. None of these guys are completely new to this, so they know what they're getting themselves into.
Heck, most notably of the points leaders, only 2 are really opting to go for the singles out of the gate, and now that's starting to change as we get past the 5 rep mark, as it was Hrенnikov going for singles all the way through, as was Frederick Agidius, who enters this event in 4th. Lucas Hogberg, one of the first athletes to break into the first round of 12 bar facing burpees. He, along with Andrei Ганин and Marcus Schmidt.
And what we have seen in the past is that this is not where you win the event. This is where you set yourself up for success in the later stages. This is when you want to make sure that you've got something in the tank after the first 2 rounds, but still positioning yourself within striking distance of the time that you want to achieve.
Don't think singles all the way through a set of 10 can be just as fast as touch and go. Frederick Agidius finding himself in the 3rd position here in this heat. He went for singles all the way through that first set.
And so Agidius and Högberg, who we just had on the screen a second ago, have been fighting it out the last 2 years in a row. The first year, Lucas beat Frederick and went to the games. Last year, it came down to the buzzer, a heartbreaking break for Lucas, and just success for Frederick as he got the ticket to go to Madison. And now they're right here again in the same heat, chasing each other down. I think none of them want to make it that exciting this year.
1, 2, and 3 in the heat through the opening round, all in the top 4 in the point standings. In fact, there were 2, 3, and 4 on the leaderboard respectively. It's Hogberg, Agidius, and Mundweiler leading the way as they go into the 2nd set of 12 burpees shortly.
I'm wondering if any of these athletes came out a little bit too hard and heavy, going unbroken, because now we're seeing Andrei Гаnin, first one onto the burpees.
He has been cruising through the snatches. The burpees, he's taken a bit of a slower pace. That's where everybody else has started to reel him back in. Is Adrian Mundweiler now in 2nd. Hogberg 3rd to the burpees. Here comes Frederick Agidius in lane number 9 in all black.
And the important thing when you see these athletes is that they are fatigued, they are tired. The snatches are going to take out a bit of your shoulders, and it's easy for them to rest just a little bit too long in the bottom part of the burpee. Don't want to do that. Get down there, get up immediately, make sure that you're meeting all the points of performance, and then get over the bar.
After this set of burpees, we'll drop the weight on the barbell for the snatches. 60 pounds, about 30 kilos. We'll go from 80 kilos to 52, 175 pounds to 115. And Adrian Mundweiler will lead the way, getting to the 2nd barbell on the floor.
Same technique as he had on the heavier barbell. He just looks a little bit more fresh. But Гаnin,
going with straight muscle snatches all the way through that first 5. Just takes that step forward. That is a legal move. They did say you don't have to roll it. You can carry it overhead to get to the next segment of the floor.
that guy is incredible. I'm wondering if he can hold on to it.
Right back into the lead with the barbell again. Гаnin working through, it stays 12 bar-facing burpees. The only thing that changes the last 2 rounds is the weight of the bar. Гаnin in white and blue, Mundweiler in gray and blue, and on the right side of the screen, Frederick Agidius, who currently holds the 4th spot as Lucas Hogberg is in 3rd.
We know from Frederick that he's one of these super cerebral athletes who can increase his pace and probably even thought about how fast he wants to go on every single solitary rep. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make a move here as well.
There's a look at Lucas Hogberg on the right side of the screen. These athletes, the top 3, as we near the 4th and final round. Again, 1:10 until the time to beat a Sam Stewart, 5:38.
Mundweiler looking very, very strong. He's showing no signs of fatigue at all on the snatches.
It's been a battle of barbell versus body weight, as Гаnin has been able to reel in Mundweiler with the snatches. It might be too little too late this time, though, as Mundweiler's starting to pull away.
I said there were no changes with Mundweiler. That would be the facial expression, but the barbell path and his cycling time were pretty much the same.
Mundweiler has been faster on the burpees, and he's going to get there first, about a rep ahead of Ganin.
Look at Mundweiler's technique. As soon as the chest and the thighs hit the deck, he pops right out of the hole and gets over it.
It's only a 1 rep differential between the two. There's rep number 6. This has still got a shot to take the event win for Adrian Mundweiler.
Adrian doing a great job of getting over the bar really fast. Andrei Ganin doing the same thing. He's a much taller athlete. He's got a lot more weight to have to carry.
No better time for a second career event victory for Adrian Mundweiler, as he will take this one 100 important points, and he's going to start closing that window on Roman Hrennikov, the points leader. 5 minutes, 35.99 seconds, the unofficial time for Mundweiler. Lucas Högberg in third, just ahead of Frederick Agidius. So 3 of the top finishers will be 2, 3, and 4 in the point standings. Andrei Ganin could be a big winner in this one. He entered this in 6th, 12 points behind Mitchell Adams in 5th.
And it's amazing how Frederick Agidius and Lucas Högberg's fates are intertwined. Once again, came right down to like the shoelace of who got in there in first.
Next finisher, PD Savage, trying to reclaim some ground after falling 9 spots in event number 3. And here comes the points leader, Roman Hrennikov, as he'll stumble across the line, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. This is going to be the first slip he'll have this weekend, as that's going to be somewhere around 15th, if my math is right. Marcus Schmidt, Sigurdur Thrusterson, crossing the line just about the 6:40 mark. Leaves 2 athletes on the floor. On opposite ends of the floor of each other, Arne Bjorn Christiansen and Kevin Winkins in lanes 10 and 1 respectively. Here comes Arne across the line, just under the 7-minute mark, and Kevin Winkins just a couple of reps remaining to round out our field of 10 here in heat number 4. This should be the last rep for him, and it is. He'll step up onto the finish mat at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, Adrian Mundweiler, second career event win at regionals, and it couldn't have come at a better time. He might actually be pulling himself into that points lead that almost seemed insurmountable with how Hrennikov has handled the first 3 events.
And he did a great job here to set himself up for success in the future events. Both him and Ganin were neck to neck, and they were both going unbroken on the early snatches, and they were pretty much the same speed on the first burpees as well. But once we got to the lighter barbell, the cycle time on the snatches were pretty much the same. Mundweiler, however, faster off the ground in the bottom position of the burpees, and that's what got him in a great position to be able to finish ahead of Ganin.
A fantastic finish, 11th career regional event for Mundweiler, his 10th top 10 finish. It comes with a second win, and he's with Nikki Brazier.
Go outside and grab some fresh air real quick so you're nice and
So Adrian, we call it moving day for
Well, welcome to day number 3 for individual competition at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Europe Regional, and what a way to welcome these athletes with what might be the most brutal test they'll be facing this weekend, with what can only be known as the filthiest 50 here in event number 5. Brandon Domain, Matt Jakobsen, and Nikki Brazier with you here at the Velodrome in Berlin, Germany. And this event has just been thrashing people through the opening heat. As we take a look at our point standings, Adrian Mundweiler leading the way for the first time after event number 4 yesterday at 342 points, 22 clear of Roman Hrennikov. Lucas Högberg, Frederick Agidius, and Andrei Ганин round out the top 5 heading into the final day, but lurking in the woods is Björkman Carl Gudmundsson, who was on a charge from 19th to 6th 1 day ago.
And you don't want Björkman chasing you, especially when the task ahead of you is event number 5, which is for time. 50 handstand push-ups, then on to 50 toes to bar, then 50 calories on the assault bike, on to 50 dumbbell box step overs, then 50 feet of right arm overhead lunge, on to 50 feet left arm overhead lunge. The time cap for these male athletes is 17 minutes.
And here in this one, we got a field of 20 athletes. So you'll notice the lower ranked athletes in the point standings will be on the outside lanes. Your points leaders, including Adrian Hundweiler, will be in the middle lanes. Hundweiler in lane 10, Hrennikov in lane 11, Björkman Carl Gudmundsson, keep an eye on him in lane number 13. Somebody else that's been moving up the leaderboard is Victor Langsved. He'll be in lane number 15.
And so we know that Lucas is out here. He's been in a troublesome position in the past where he's had to make up ground on the last day. You know that he's going to try to make sure that he doesn't have to find himself in the same position again.
And away we go. It's a 17-minute time cap for the men in this event, starting with 50 handstand push-ups, something that we saw go by in 50 seconds in heat number 1.
That is blistering fast. I know that some of these athletes are going to try to do the same thing. However, we did see the athlete go that fast, implode a little bit later. So you want to partitions, you want to get through it fast, but you don't want to overexert yourself. There's so much work left to do. And you're going to need that shoulder strength and that shoulder stability a little bit later, both when you start walking over the box with these dumbbells, but also when you're out here on the lunges. And feast your eyes on Björkman right here in the blue shorts, gray t-shirt. He's known for gymnastic prowess. If you follow him on social media, you're also going to see him post a lot of really, really good challenges. So I know that he's going to be doing really, really well, but he is a little bit on the outside, so he does have a little bit more pressure on him than I think he's had in the past.
And in lane number 7, it's Mitchell Adams, and he's looking around off camera. He's looking around like, where is everybody? He got through the handstand push-ups also in about 50 seconds. There he is, Mitchell Adams, your event 3 winner, that just like Gudmundsson was on a tear in day number 2, he jumped up 11 spots in event number 3.
And Mitchell Adams, he's good at handstand push-ups. He's strong, he's got fairly short levers, and he's revitalized by that finish yesterday. And so there are a couple of keys to the event. There are a couple of things I think these athletes are probably thinking about as they enter the floor. One is pace the assault bike. You're not going to win it on the assault bike, but you could lose it if you go too fast and get yourself in too deep of a hole. The second one is lots of mini rests on the box overs. Make sure that you have a lot of rest on the box overs, just because your grip is going to be fatigued, your legs are going to be fatigued, and if you hold on too long, that's just going to mean that your movements get slower and slower and slower. The last one is very important. It's on the lunges, the length of your stride. If your stride is too long, what's going to happen is that your hip is going to start moving and you have to kind of bounce out to the bottom position. When that happens, that dumbbell overhead is going to start moving, and you're going to have to put it back with your shoulders, and it's a heavy dumbbell.
It was about 2 minutes 37 seconds for the early heat 1 leader, Dimitrius Mochu, to move away from the toes of the bar, make it 2:29. The fastest sprint now continues to be Mitchell Adams, the man who has no fear of coming out like he's been shot out of a cannon, it seems, in the past couple of events.
And to be honest, he doesn't have anything to lose, really. I mean, if you do as well as he did yesterday, then why not go out here and swing for the fences? I mean, you're on the floor. This is what you've been training for, so why not just give it your all? I like this strategy from him.
Adrian Hundweiler, your points leader, is going to be second to the assault bike, along with BK Gudmundsson, a couple of lanes over from him. So 2 names that are very notable in this field in second and third behind Adams. Don't sleep on Mitchell Adams either. The event 3 winner, 36 points behind Andrei Ганин in 5th.
And Frederick Egidius has made it onto the bike right next to Björkman here. Frederick looking to make sure that he doesn't find himself on the floor in the last event like he did last year.
Whoa, how about that pace for Frederick Egidius? As I was about to say, it was a quick pace for Aldous Upenix on the right side of the screen. Egidius almost went into like a Tabata kind of timed sprint on the bike.
But it's a smart thing to do. Go out there and get that thing going right away. You're not going to lose yourself on a little bit of a sprint like that. If you keep it at around 7 seconds, that you're going to get a bunch of calories and you're going to make up on a lot of people. I think it's just smart. Just keep it to around 7, potentially 10 seconds, and then find your stride after that.
Now we're going to be here for a little bit on this bike. 50 calories. Yes, we have seen 30 and 40 calories go by in very quick succession in games and past regional events. This one 50, but in the middle of the event and with what's facing them after this, going to be a bit slower.
It is. Once they get off the bike, that's when they need to really have a game plan on the box step overs. They're going to be carrying two 70-pound dumbbells. It's not just the dumbbell, it's the grip, it's the balance, it's how you stumble over the, whether you stumble or step over the box, how do you land? These athletes, what I'd like to see in a perfect world would be them stepping over, keeping close to the bar so they don't have too much of a radius as they turn around, because every single second you're carrying that dumbbell, it's just taking gas out of the tank.
Top 6 in the point standings, all in the shot going back from Goodmanson on the near side, all the way to the black and white shirt, 6 lanes up, that being Andrei Гаnin.
That's Lucas Högberg in the white shirt with the black, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. I was looking at lane 2. I wasn't looking far enough. That was Гаnin right there. Lucas Högberg in the middle, Andrei Гаnin on your left, and Adrian Mundweiler on your right. Now Lucas did make it to the bike a little bit later than both Adrian and Гаnin, and I'm not sure if that's the strategy he was kind of setting out for to start with, saving some for later or not.
Man's name that we haven't mentioned yet in this event is Roman Hrennikov, and training out of St. Petersburg, Russia, originally from Serbia. And we've had so little information on him this entire time as he's continuing to just make a move up the leaderboard and make a name for himself this weekend.
Well, he sure is. I mean, he's from Siberia, and I mean, tough people come out of Siberia. That's just the way it works. And as I say that, another tough person walking off the bike, and that is Björkvin Gudmundsson.
Wow, 15 seconds quicker than what we saw 1 heat ago.
Fredrik Egidius as well.
Two men that are not in a very comfortable position entering the final day. Gudmundsson in 6th, Egidius in 4th. Here comes Mitchell Adams. He's still hanging on to the top 3. This breakneck pace might be working out for him.
Mitchell Adams is not going anywhere for the next 17 minutes, that's for sure. And a lot of guys out there on the box overs right now. And this is what I was talking about before. On the box overs, get the work done as fast as you can. Rest a little bit, because the more you the more pressure you put on yourself, and the longer time under tension, the harder it's going to get into your grip. Your shoulders are fatiguing, and you do have the lunge after this. We're seeing a lot of athletes put the dumbbells on the ground when they're resting. I would like to see them start putting the dumbbells on the box if they're resting mid-set. Shorter way to carry them back.
And they will have to set the dumbbells on the ground to move that box unless they want to try to slide it with 140 pounds on top of it. That one might not work too well, as they will advance that box every 6 reps until they get to 48. Then they'll advance it for the final 2 at the 50 spot on the floor. And there's Gudmundsson using that strategy of resting the dumbbells on the box, something that they were told they are allowed to do.
And if it's allowed, you should use it. I mean, every single fiber of your body is working on these step overs. So why not just give it a little bit less of a lift?
Adams ditching the shirt, so it's go time apparently for him as he moves the box in the 4th position. Lazar Dukic in 5th, and we're starting to see the build-up here as boxes are starting to move into that spot on the floor, indicating they're working towards rep number 18, and that logjam effect is starting, but still ahead of it is Björkvin Karl Gudmundsson and Fredrik Egidius.
And I'm impressed with how Björkvin is handling this. I'm also impressed with Fredrik. He's a slightly shorter athlete, which means that this is a high step for him, but he's handling it very, very well.
Don't look now. Here comes Roman Hrennikov now into the 3rd position.
I said it before, if you're out of Siberia, you're probably fairly tough to start with.
Past the halfway point from Björkman Carl Gudmundsson. He's at 8 minutes and 55 seconds. That is about 40 seconds quicker than Alex Kontoulis, who took the lead at this point, 1 heat to go.
Adrian Mundweiler is just finding his stride, working really well. You see him taking a bit of a breather right here. But that's the thing, you need to rest, but you need to rest short. Everything in your body is telling you to go, 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 and then rest, rest, rest. You need to stick to your game plan.
About 10 athletes stuck within 6 reps of Gudmundsson, Agidius, and Hrenikov, who are still out in front. 30 reps complete, 20 reps to go on the box step-overs for the heat leader and man on a mission, Björkman Carl Gudmundsson. We've already seen the Icelandic team streak end. That one, they've had a team sent from Iceland every year since 2010. That was the last time they weren't there. That streak is done this year. Björkman Carl Gudmundsson trying to keep the men's streak alive, as he's been there every year since 2014 representing his nation.
And while looking at the heroic effort right here by Björkman, you need to remember that he did have a bit of a knee issue. See him taped up on his left knee. So this isn't comfortable for him.
And while Björkman's trying to keep a streak going, Roman Hrenikov is trying to start a new streak. We've yet to see a Russian athlete in the individual competition. Hrenikov looking to be the first.
So we know that he has a little bit of a breakdancing background. I'm not sure if that's what's serving him well right here, but he does look really good. I like the way he's doing this work. I like the intervals of his rest as well.
That background might be the most interesting one we've had with breakdancing. It's worked. That's all we can say. It has worked for him.
It's not something we see a lot, but who knows? This may be what opens up the breakdance community to CrossFit.
We take a look at this logjam as those boxes are starting to move towards the finish line.
PD Savage in the middle of your screen right there.
So Gudmundsson and Hrenikov on to their final 8 repetitions on the box step over.
You're seeing a couple of different techniques here. Some of these athletes are actually kind of swinging the dumbbell forward and then following through, trying to get some momentum over the box, whereas others are keeping the dumbbell really close and stepping all the way up. Now, once again, there's no right or wrong, but it does require different things from the athlete, either a lot of leg strength or the ability to catch up as you're passing over. Scoring your picture right there. There's just in the picture.
Final couple of reps for the leaders as Gudmundsson and Hrenikov have moved that box to the 50 spot on the floor. These reps were completed at about 14 minutes by William Kane, your event leader. So Gudmundsson will be the first one to advance to the overhead lunge. Meanwhile, your early leader Mitchell Adams has fallen near the back of the pack, as right next to him on the right side, that's Andrei Гаnin, who is slipping a little bit. He's still hanging around in that 6th position in this heat, but the man on the bubble is in trouble. Also is the man in 7th entering this event.
And Andrei Гаnin was a little bit behind Lucas Högberg to start with, but Andrei has actually passed Lucas now as Björkman starts making it onto the lunges.
And here we go. This is a new movement, a new standard. The single arm dumbbell overhead walking lunge to regionals. They'll also have that one resting on the other shoulder. It's a tough movement, but we've seen everybody handle it somewhat well, but Gudmundsson having to set down those dumbbells. And I think this might be a big test of how that knee is holding up. We'll have to move back as he broke within that segment of 5 feet. You do have to go back behind that line.
And Roman Hrenikov came off to a little bit of a bad start there just because he was popping his left hand overhead. You need to start with the right hand overhead.
Right hand down, left hand back, 50-foot length. Goodmanson having a tough time stabilizing that dumbbell up over his head, and it's a no rep on the lunge for Hrenikov, so they both falter at the same time. Where did Andrei Гаnin come from? Here he goes, making his way back up into the picture, now into third, now into second, now into first.
And he doesn't look phased at all.
Just as it looked like he was slipping into the back of this field by a little bit, he got shot out of a cannon, and he'll be the first one to the turnaround point once he stands this up, and he does, and he's got the new lead by a 40-second lead over the pace set by William Kane in heat number 1. 16:27 the time to beat. It's Russians 1 and 2 as Гаnin will be the first one to make his way back. Hrenikov will be at the turnaround point as well. Goodmanson in the blue and gray shorts, the top blue lane in third with Högberg in fourth.
So the athletes can place the dumbbell on the shoulder, but they need to touch the middle, so the grip with the hand.
It might have been a strategy, a slow and steady wins the race for Andrei Гаnin. He was the final athlete to get to the bike, and he has made his way through every single athlete in this heat and in this event. It's a second win of the weekend for Andrei Гаnin, the bubble athlete making moves on day number 3.
Wow! Incredible effort by Гаnin here.
Race for second is a tight one now. You can see 3 athletes making their way back. Goodmanson in that top blue lane. 1 blue lane below him is Hrenikov. 1 blue lane below him is Högberg. Hrenikov getting a no rep just after Goodmanson sets the dumbbell down. And Lucas Högberg will take advantage, moving into second. He's having a tough time stabilizing, and he'll set those down as well.
And Lucas Högberg has a little bit of a different strategy. You see the other athletes resting the dumbbell on the shoulder. He's actually holding on to that dumbbell. And that's just got to be costing him a lot of energy right now.
I want to know how that affects him going forward into our final event where grip is going to be a priority. Goodmanson unable to hold the lead over Hrenikov. Hrenikov is breaking off a segment of at least 15 feet, going for 20 here. He's moved back into second, and on a day where Russia might be sending its first athlete to the games, they might be taking 1 and 2 here in this final heat. Got to get that foot fully past the line. He's unable to do so as he sets him down. Can Högberg take advantage? He's a couple of steps behind him. They're going to be neck and neck as they go to the final 7 feet of this. The red line is what matters, not that solid white line. The heel is on the ground. It's going to be a no rep for Högberg. He's got to go back 7 feet to get to that back marker. Hrenikov gets a no rep. Goodmanson is there with them now. Hrenikov going to take another shot at it. And all the way in the top lane, Bronislav Alenkovic takes advantage of all the missteps. He'll be second. Hrenikov third. Goodmanson will stand it up for fourth. And on the near lane, as we hit the time cap, we nearly had another finisher, which was PD Savage. Whoa! Wow. Time for 5 more to find out if they'll be going to the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, this time on the men's side, as we're ready for the final heat of the weekend here at the Velodrome in Berlin, Germany. And this one has got a little bit of intrigue, especially atop the points leaderboard, where it's just 16 points separating first through third. Roman Hrenikov continuing this star-making weekend. He's in at 400 points in first. Adrian Mundweiler 2 points back. Lucas Högberg 16 back. Andrei Гаnin not far behind either, 32 back. And in the 5th spot, it's the comeback kid this weekend, Björgvin Carl Goodmanson, 20 points ahead of Fredrik Agidius around that cut line.
And Fredrik Agidius finds himself around that cut line again this year, again and then competing with his friend Björgvin Carl Goodmanson for that spot. I think they both agreed that, you know, friendship's left at the door. When we're out here, we're going to do the best we can. But it's interesting.
And it'll be a fast and frantic finish here this weekend.
And it really will. Event number 6 is 4 time, 4, 3, and 2 rope climbs, and 16, 12, and 8 thrusters. The thrusters will be at 155 pounds, and there is a 7-minute time cap on the event.
Don't expect the points leaders or anybody around those 5 qualifying spots to need that 7-minute time cap. As we're ready to go for the final time here at the newly re-established Europe Regional, 10 athletes set to throw down for the final time. As here in heat number 4, the points leader, Roman Hrennikov, will be in lane number 5. Björkman Carl Gudmundsson, bubble athlete, lane 3. Fredrik Agidius, 1 spot out, will be in lane number 8. Away we go for the final time. The time to beat set in heat number 3. Hena Malkovsky, 3 minutes, 55.75 seconds.
And these guys are going at it hard to start with, leaving absolutely nothing out there. Now, I've said in the past heats that I think you should be a little bit conservative on the first couple of rope climbs. I see none of that with these gentlemen.
First man to break away for the bar is actually Lazar Dukic in lane number 9 in the orange and gray shorts. Roman Hrennikov, the points leader in the white shirt, red and black shorts, is second, with Björkman Carl Gudmundsson, Lucas Högberg, and Andrei Гаnin not far behind as the rest of the field joins them.
And I really don't think we're going to see any of these guys slowing down throughout the event at all.
Keep an eye on where they are on the floor as they will advance the bar every time they complete halfway through the round of the thrusters. They'll also advance it before they make their way back to the rope. There's a look at the fittest man in Serbia for the second consecutive year, Lazar Dukic, the first man to advance to the barbell.
And he did start out with a very impressive speed on the rope.
But the first man through the thrusters and making their way back to the rope is going to be Björkman Carl Gudmundsson. He needs to finish 4th or better in this event to clinch a spot in the games for a 5th consecutive year.
No doubt that he's out there trying to do everything he can to make sure that happens.
Your top 5 athletes are 5 of the top 6 here in this heat. It's 1 through 5 of the point standings along with Dukic.
And Björkman here, notice how fast his hands are to start with, then swings up, stands up, and gets the touch.
But he finds himself behind Roman Hrennikov, and that has been a position that a lot of these athletes have been in all weekend long. Hrennikov, who actually has yet to win an event this weekend, but he's been so consistent with 4 top 5s in the first 5 events, finding himself 2 points clear of Lundweiler for the points lead.
And Hrennikov said when we talked to him a little bit earlier, he said that he was just going to go out there and do the best he could. Looks like that's going to do very, very well for him. Technique is really, really good. He hasn't been to the Russian sports college. That's the kind of base you get there.
So while Hrennikov on the left leads the way, and it's Gudmundsson in second, this man, Fredrik Agidius, might find himself on the outside looking in at the end of things, as he is the 7th athlete to make his way back to the bar for the set of 12 thrusters, as Hrennikov pulls away, making his way back to the rope. Gudmundsson behind him, and it was just off camera, but he was looking directly at Agidius as he did that, making sure he knew where Fredrik was.
And of course, that's exactly what you need to do if you're as experienced as Björkman and in the position that Björkman is. Make sure that you know where the guy you're competing with is.
3 minutes in, and Hrennikov is already making his way back to the 155-pound bar, about 70 kilos, for the final set of 8. He'll do 4, advance it forward, and do another 4. Roman Hrennikov, 17th ranked in Europe North, coming out of the Open. This is his first regional appearance. And not only will it be the highest finish for a Russian athlete in regionals ever, he will be the first Russian athlete to qualify for the games. And we asked, what can he not do? For the first time, he'll win an event. There is your Europe regional champion, Roman Hrennikov.
We have yet to find out what he can't do.
Now behind him, it is a 3-way race. Gudmundsson, Гаnin, and Lundweiler, and it's going to be BK Gudmundsson. This will be good for what looks like 3rd in the event. He needed 4th or better to get a spot, and it unofficially has a 3rd. Adrian Lundweiler looking to be just ahead of Andrei Гаnin. They will finish 3rd and 4th in the heat. There will be prior times from earlier heats that will factor in.
Lucas Högberg still out there fighting for the last rep on the thrusters, finishing off now.
for Lucas. He needed 22nd or better. It does appear that he has done that. Of course, there are other times that we are going to wait for, as Bronislaw Lenkovic will be our next finisher. And Frederick Agidius will see William Kane go by him. And this will be the end of the line, most likely, for Frederick Agidius. He likes to cut it close, and this time he cut it a little too close for a little too long, it appears.
He did find himself in a good position, but then it just everything, well, we saw the entire jaw just get turned upside down.
Lazar Dupic will finish, and that leaves one athlete on the floor, and that's PD Savage in lane number 1. Savage making his 4th regional appearance. His 3rd, his first as an individual. He's been here twice on a team. Said it's a 5-year dream to get to regionals as an individual. And this dream will finish out as he closes out our final heat. And it might be a top 10 points finish for somebody that's been waiting 5 years to get here. Somebody that hasn't even done CrossFit for 5 years may have the dream of a regional championship, and that is Roman Hrennikov, who takes his first career event win at 3 minutes 42.91 seconds.
And it looks like it's starting to dawn on him what he did. It was impressive from start to finish. He was very, very fast on the rope. And then what we saw him do was on the rope was basically just fast hands, stand up, and then touch. And if he couldn't do that with his feet, he just went legless. Thrusters were consistent, they were fast, and he was breathing his way through them, and that's what set him up for the finish that was way out ahead of everybody else. Hrennikov still has a lot of potential, and to be honest with you, this is his first year, but I'm looking forward to seeing him for many years to come.
Yeah, we've spent this weekend just trying to figure out more about Roman Hrennikov. We're going to have more time to do that as we have that build up to the games in August. Somebody that we do know a little bit about is Lucas Hogberg, who may have done just enough to get himself a spot in the games, and he's with Nikki Brazier.
So we are going to be waiting for the official numbers still here, obviously, but you were sitting in a pretty good position going into this event, and I know last year you had some heartbreak at the end of regionals when you did not make it to games. So what would a trip to games mean for you this year?
Everything. This is my life.
Yeah?
I love it. So been, focusing even more on myself, and I'm so happy, excited, competing against everyone here, and like all the volunteers and judges, really good, and the crowd. I'm so happy, and thank you, CrossFit, for hosting this.
You made a huge showing this weekend. What did you change or improve in your training over the year to get back here this weekend?
Well, like I said, I try to focus more on myself and not to be, look too much on other athletes and improve myself instead. Focus on my weak spots. Yeah.
You did an awesome job. Let's wait for the numbers here. Great work this weekend.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Lucas Hogberg hoping to make what will be a 4th appearance at the games as he closes out his weekend with a 7th place finish here in the final event. Roman Hrennikov and Hena Makovsky, why not? On a weekend that's been huge for the Russian men. We have Russia 1, 2, and 5 at event number 6. Björkman Carl Gudmundsson in 3rd, Adrian Mundpeiler in 4th, as it appears that they might be finding themselves going back to the games as well.
Well, they would be, if that's the way things work out, then I have to say I'm very happy with the athletes that we will be sending from the European region or the Europe region. I think we're going to see them do very, very well in Madison. Well-rounded athlete that don't just show up dominating one side of the field. They're really good, well-rounded.
As we wait for the official final results, Roman Hrennikov, he knows he can breathe easy as he wins the final event. He came into this with the points lead, put 2 and 2 together on that one.
And it just dawned on me that we may have seen something that's really unique when he celebrated that event win. I haven't seen him celebrate anything, and being from Siberia, I'm just thinking that, you don't get to see that many emotions from this guy. I'm happy, and I think he should be too. He's been an amazing athlete to watch.
Originally from Siberia, moved to St. Petersburg, Russia, for athletes to train with, basically. You spoke about it earlier, going to the sport university for Olympic training, basically, in Russia, for lack of better terms, I believe.
Yes, he did, and that's what happens there is that you get a wide base of athletic capacities to build off, and then you may propel in one area or another and then make it onto the Olympic reserve. That being said, it kind of speaks volumes to training a wide base. Who knew? You need to be good at everything.
Apparently including breakdancing. There might be a lot of people that pick that up here in the next few months.
Either that or a lot of breakdancers who start looking themselves in the mirror and going, maybe CrossFit's for me.
So while the athletes on the floor continue to wait, let's go down to Nikki Brazier with an update.
You guys, so much excitement down here on the floor right now, especially from our Russian athletes. You see Roman's got the flag draped around his shoulders, and it's been signed by members from his gym right after they both crossed the finish line. Him and Andrei Ганин held hands and raised their arms up. They'll be the first Russian athletes to make it to games. This crowd is unbelievable.
A moment ago, you saw Björkman Carl Gudmundsson in the crowd having that moment as he was leading that Icelandic Viking clap that has almost become notorious at games events now with the success that the country of Iceland has had. If he does in fact have enough to hold on to one of those 5 qualifying spots, and will continue his streak of 5 consecutive years at the games, continue Iceland's streak of sending a male athlete for those same 5 years as well.
He's been a fierce competitor, and what I'd like to see if he goes is that he gets some treatment for that knee. I don't want to have to wonder while looking at him in Madison, both for his own sake and for everybody else. The excitement that he was looking for, and that he said, I'm adding a bit of spice to this, I'd like to see him just cruise in the top 3, top 5.
Speaking of nationalities, we've never seen a Russian individual athlete make it to the games. And as you see Andrei Ганин and Roman Hrенnikov, we may very well see 2 going in the same year.
It's incredible, and it just goes to show how we as a sport are developing or evolving and reaching more and more people, and people who may not have been exposed to CrossFit before get exposure and they make it onto the floor.
And it does appear that the time is now for our official results. We go back down to the floor, and Hanu.
Here we go, Berlin. The final results are in for the men. Taking first place with 4 top 5 finishes over the weekend, with 500 points, from Russia, from Sever CrossFit, going to the games for the first time, Roman Hrенnikov. Taking second place with 482 points. One first place finish this weekend in event number 4. And going back to the games for the second time after a 1-year break. From Germany, CrossFit Rhein-Neckar, Adrian Munweiler. Taking third place with 456 points. 5 top 10 finishes over this weekend here in Berlin. 3-time Games competitor. From Stockholm, Sweden, representing CrossFit Nordic, Lucas Herberg. Heartbreaking year last year for Lucas, but he gets redemption here and earns another trip to the games. Fourth place. Last year in Madrid, we already saw a few flashes from this gentleman. He showed that he belongs. This weekend, taking 2 first place finishes in events 2 and 5. with 448 points. Going to the games for the first time from Russia, CrossFit MDN, Andrei Гаnin. And finally, the fifth and last qualifying spot. This man had a rough start for the weekend on Friday. We're not used to seeing him in other heats than the last one. Yeah, buddy. His best finish this weekend was second in event number 3. He's a 4-time Games competitor, hailing from Iceland, representing CrossFit Hengil, Björgvin Karl Gudmundsson. So ladies and gentlemen, these are your top 5 athletes qualified from the Europe Regional here in Berlin, Germany. Roman Hrенников, Adrian Munweiler, Lukas Höberi, Andrei Гаnin, and Björgvin Karl Gudmundsson.
At the Europe Regional, we had a return to this regional with the addition of it, adding to the Meridian Regional. And the theme of this year is quite possibly, especially on the men's side, the year of the Russians. For the first time ever, we'll see a Russian individual games athlete, and we won't see just one, we'll see 2 of them. Andrei Гаnin, 4th place, and Roman Hrенnikov, the Europe Regional champion. They're both with Mickey Brazier.
We're making history at this regional with the first 2 Russian athletes ever to go to games. I'm going to start with Roman coming in 1st place on top of the podium. Only been crossfitting for 2 years. Everyone wants to know, how did you make it here? How did you train to get to the top of the podium at this regional event?
Ты сейчас всех удивил. Первый русский, который едет на игры. Всего 2 года занимаешься кроссфитом. Что ты делаешь? Как ты тренируешься? Как тебе удалось этого добиться?
Ну, все зависит от режима. Я очень четко выстроил свой режим. Я поставил свои тренировки на первый план, а все остальное шло назад. И все, я полностью выкладывался, отдавался своему делу, и все воздалось.
So discipline makes a really big difference. So I decided to sacrifice everything else and just train and prepare for the competition.
And Andre, we've seen you were such a fierce competitor all weekend, and those couple spots underneath the first one were shuffling across around the day. So what did you need to do to focus and push your way to the top?
To lose weight and make more gymnastics.
Yeah, and that obviously paid off. What are you going to do between now and the games to train and prepare for that level?
Add some cardio, swimming, cycling, like this. Well, I'm ready for games, just cannot get there before this year.
You're going to get there now. Congratulations to these Russian athletes, for the first Russian athletes to ever go to games. Great job this weekend, you guys.
It is a big statement from Russia here coming out of the Europe Regional. And speaking of statements, how about the one made by an athlete sitting in 19th place after day number 1, where that athlete said, oh no, I'm still going to go to Madison. That athlete finishing 5th, Björgvin Karl Gudmundsson, called a shot and he connected on it as he rounds out our field of 5. Again, it's Roman Hrенnikov first at 500 points. Adrian Munweiler will go back to the games. He's 2 for 2 when he finishes a regional. He was successful in 2016, successful again this year. Lukas Högberg is back after missing by 2 points a year ago. Andrei Гаnin, who you just heard from, in 4th. And Björgvin Karl Gudmundsson rounds out the top 5. Gudmundsson is standing by with Mickey Brazier.